Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, you've been asking for this one. I've been resisting it. I did one reading on it before and didn't really cover it much because I'm telling you Trump's not going to win the election. But you want to know, we'll go at Project 2025. You win. All right. First off, what is Project 2025? It's a Heritage Foundation sponsored agenda, if you will. Trump today is on the news saying he's disavowing it, but I think it's mostly because Project 2025 is getting a lot of attention for stuff he wants to do, and he has to be the queen bee on all things. But I have a BBC article here I'll link to, I'll have it in the description here, describing Project 2025. Think of it as okay, so their document outlines four main aims: restore the family as the centerpiece of American life, dismantle the administrative state, defend the nation's sovereignty and borders, and secure God-given individual rights to live freely. So Trump, not to be outdone, has come up with his Agenda 47, which, it's his Project 2025 should he become the 47th president. I haven't gone over the Agenda 47 one, but I suspect that these two things are essentially identical. For government, they want to lay off tens of thousands of government workers. Before Trump left office in October of 2020, he passed something called Schedule F employees. It would take government workers and reclassify them as Schedule F, which would be workers that could be fired when a new administration comes in. Now, currently, 3,000 or 4,000 workers can be fired when a new administration comes in. This would expand it to more like 50,000 workers. And then he could basically appoint political appointees into that. Biden dismantled, it was an executive order of Trump's, and Biden dismantled it. But if Trump gets back in, he'll put it back in there. And Project 2025 wants that because then this is how you get rid of the deep state and create your own deep state. Because you're not really getting rid of the deep state, you're creating one. Immigration, the wall goes back up, and increase fee on immigrants and allow fast-tracked applicants for migrants who pay a premium. So give us a bunch of money and we'll let you in the country type thing. Climate and the economy, well, you can imagine that they have no interest in global warming and carbon reductions. They want tariffs, and they are even considered. They want to abolish the Federal Reserve and maybe go back to a gold-backed currency. Because that'll work out well. Getting rid of the Federal Reserve. Yeah, let's get rid of all those regulations and the regulatory agencies. They're so pesky. Abortion, nationwide abortion ban. It wants to take the abortion pill off the market, and tech and education. Pornography would be banned. What would Mike Johnson do? Oh. And then they would force tech and telecom companies to facilitate access to such content. We got to get woke propaganda out of the schools, and all of a sudden you got to eliminate terms from all laws and federal regulations that might use the term sexual orientation, gender equality, abortion, reproductive rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let's see what else do they want to do here. You can imagine that at this point what they would want is an American Taliban. They would want a national religion to be of an equal power to the president of the United States, that sort of thing. Basically what they have in Iran. Heaven forbid you not be Christian, Imagine if you're an atheist or an agnostic or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a flying spaghetti, a Pastafarian, believes in the flying spaghetti monster. Let's just go trample over your religious freedoms because now we're a Christian nation with Christian values. Heaven forbid we be a Christian nation with Christian values. Those are some of the damn worst values I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm not too worried about Project 2025 is that it would require Trump getting reelected, and I don't see that happening. That being said, it literally is like the powder keg underneath a Trump reelection. This is why, Trump getting reelected or put in office is so frightening, because not only will we have an authoritarian government oligarchy, but then all this horrible stuff is going to happen too. And how do you undo it? So let's look at the energy of Project 2025. Then we're going to look at Trump and his pettiness, because it's Project 2025 and not Agenda 47. And we'll go with it from there and see where life takes us, okay? Entertainment purposes only. Thank you for joining me on this one. Let's see what we got. We have the Three of Wands reversed, but that is probably because my deck is reversed, and it was. Three of Wands is the foundational card. Wands are about fire and energy and action. And this is Project 2025 is literally the ticking time bomb waiting to go off. They are waiting for a conservative president to come in and implement these changes. And by conservative president, I don't mean like Ronald Reagan or Herbert Walker Bush. Probably not even W. But Trump would, DeSantis would, this current crop of MAGA-like Republican candidates absolutely would put this in. And this should be alarming to everyone. This is yet another reason to vote Democrat and get like-minded people to vote blue. This thing needs to be buried because they're waiting for their time and they think their time is near. Crossed with the Four of Cups. They're tired of waiting. They've got their agenda lined up and they've got their candidate ready to go. Trump is willing to, even though he's disavowing Project 2025, he's so transactional. All you got to do is throw a bunch of money at him and he'll let you do what you want. The other thing that this Four of Cups is for people like me and you that are looking at this like, we don't want this. This is not why we formed the United States. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As long as your pursuit of happiness doesn't infringe on other people's life, liberty, and the pursuits of their happiness. The American people, generally speaking, would reject this, which is why you have to have a presidential candidate get in there that's just been armed by the Supreme Court with king-like powers to force this thing down everybody's throat. Underneath is the Two of Wands. The Heritage Foundation has been planning this moment for a while now. When they probably have had a low-grade version of this. When Trump got in, they turned on the volume. They floored the car. They've been idling, waiting for it. Trump got in, they floored it, and plans were set up. If Trump had been reelected in 2020, Project 2025 or Agenda 47, however you want it to call it, would have been enacted by this point. And they had that set up. They had it ready to go. The only thing that's stopping them right now is that a vast majority of Americans don't want this. But it doesn't matter if the vast majority don't want it, because we'll have a king and a monarchy and an oligarchy. And what we want doesn't matter because our betters will tell us what to do. And it's obviously advanced. In the past, this is underneath. It's like they've been planning this for a while, and now they're waiting for their ship to come in. In the past, you've got the emperor. They found their king. They found their emperor, and they're going to force this down on people. Plain and simple. The emperor does not suffer fools lightly, and the emperor is going to tell you what to do and how to do it. I don't know how else to put it. Very black and white. Current situation is the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is opening day. They think they've got this. They really do think they've got this. Right now, the only formality is that Trump needs to be elected. I think they've got enough Congress people behind this. They've got the money behind this. They probably have American oligarchs behind this. They've got everything they need to get this thing in motion. We got the 2, the 3, and the 4 wands here. Overarching energy is the 7 of Swords. Our rights are going to be stolen. And, touching on this, my brother had sent me, and I think a few of you had commented about Libby having a reading today. Hi, Libby, at Meister Tarot. Maigster, I believe is how you spell it, Tarot. If and when Trump loses the election, they are absolutely going to say that this election was stolen. They will use the election stolen mantra. Trump said it was going to happen in 2016 if he lost. My brother even pointed out there's a clip. Trump lost a state to Ted Cruz, like Texas or something. And it's the same mantra. It was rigged, it was stolen, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing he did in the primaries in Texas in 2016 to what he said for the presidential election in 2016, except he won, and then the 2020 election, which he lost. We know he's going to say it's stolen, but I think they're going to try and basically sneak off with our rights. They have no problem with this, and they will get the guys in the red baseball caps to help them do it. The lesson to be learned from all this is the Page of Pentacles. When people tell you who they are, believe them. We should all believe that these folks think that they're better than us, their ideas are better than us, and they're going to force their ideas upon us. And to them, this is just desserts. Because they feel like we've forced the woke agenda on them. No, we forced them to respect other people, to value other people's opinions, to be, just don't trample on other people's cultures because you don't understand it. They're just pushing back on it. They call it being politically correct. The rest of us would call it being respectful. And so now there's a term that's been developed called woke, and they use it like a 4-letter word. I guess it is a 4-letter word, but it's not a 4-letter word like we think it is. Back is a 4-letter word too. And this is also, they'll get the red baseball cap idiots to help them do this. And these folks, they're just too damn stupid to understand what's going on. Trust me, at some point, Project 2025 is going to be getting rid of assault weapons, because once you have control, the last thing you want is a bunch of guys running around with a bunch of guns. So in the name of God and country and patriotism, you'll give up your assault weapons, and then your other weapons, and then your shotguns and your rifles and everything like that, until they have a disarmed public. And at that point, the MAGA folks are going to be like, what the hell just happened? Dipshits. The outcome is the Moon card. There's no knowing how far they will go, how extreme they will go with this. But they're crazy. These are fanatics. These are religious fanatics. But it's not even religion. Religion is just the perfume it wears to attract people to it. It's like a musk or a, what's the word I'm looking for here? Hang on for a second. I'll think it. Well, I give myself a second, literally a second here, like a pheromone type of thing. It's an attractant to these people. It sounds so good. You've got a strong man who wears a red baseball cap. He's on your team. He's, Roll Tide. He's an Alabama fan, just like you are. Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. And we're going to take it to, I don't know, those Buckeyes from Ohio State or the Wolverines from Michigan. They're nobody compared to us. So that's Project 2025 in a nutshell. Be scared. Well, you don't have to be scared. Be alarmed. And be ready to fight. Oh, yeah, and then they're on the Steve Bannon had a couple other articles here. They were on the Steve Bannon podcast, basically saying that it'll be a bloodless coup if the liberals will let it be a bloodless coup. Oh, well, that's thoughtful of you. You know, I'll tell you what. Y'all think you're going to put that in there? Let's see, how do they... Kevin Roberts said, it's a second American Revolution. We're in the process of a second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be. Because the radical left was apocalyptic because our side is winning. Screw you, pal. I promise you, I won't go out bloodless. Heck no. And if I, and maybe I'll be too old to do something about it at that point. But you know what? I got a lot of money, and money can buy things for people that are a little bit more who have less moral conflicts with such things. You know, Ten of Wands. There's one of those sighs you guys talk about. It's, again, the sighs is often me just letting dark, ugly thoughts out of my body as I was just going into dark, ugly thoughts there. I don't want to be violent. I don't want this for this country. But that doesn't mean I can't fund it. These people. I'd rather not. I'd rather give my money to charity. I'd rather be helping marginalized people. Have some clothing, have some food in their belly, have a chance to get a job and make a better life for themselves. That's how I want to spend my money. I want to spend on firearms and ammunition. Jerks. Okay. How about this guy, Kevin Roberts? Let's look at Kevin Roberts here. What's his jam all about? Why is this American Taliban so hell-bent on forcing his religious thing? I mean, this is all about control. This is all about, again, this is about a control thing over the people of the United States. This is about wealth, power, and control. Knight of Swords. Hard-charging knight, reckless. Yeah, I would say it's reckless. He's an opportunist. He sees an opportunity to come in here and get what he wants. He doesn't care about, and this person doesn't care about the collateral damage, because ultimately it's about what they want and the power that they can get. And a knight who performs well in battle, he might become a king one day. This is how you establish yourself as a leader. Speaking of leaders, cross with the Six of Wands. You go in there and establish yourself as a leader for this revolution here, and all of a sudden, people hail you, and now you're at the top of the heap. You didn't have to, as I say, you didn't fight your way up. You started at the top, and all you have to do is maintain that top, which is funny because that's what that Ten of Wands was saying, is you maintain it. Underneath it all is the Page of Cups. He's got some wackadoodle ideas. And his ideas, it's funny, his ideas appeal to simple-minded people. He's really good at bamboozling people. Telling them what they think they want. These folks are just, it's Seven of Cups energy. They're just out to lunch. Yeah, sounds good to me. Whatever you say, I'll follow you. These folks are always looking for a leader. They want somebody to lead them and tell them what to do and put ideas into their head, because it's easier to listen to somebody else's ideas than come up with your own. In the past, you got the Two of Swords. This is all about timing. I don't think we heard anything about Project 2025 in 2020, but given how things are going with Trump and such, they're shooting their shot. This is probably their one best shot at this. I hope that's the case. That if this doesn't pan out, that they diminish in in popularity and strength. Oh, in the past, to him, he's looking at this. He's been looking for his moment. He's picking his moment. He's been biding his time, waiting for his moment, and that moment is here. Current situation is the Page of Wands. He's out there like the town crier, saying what he wants to do, and he's calling people to arms. He's trying to amass an army and alert people to what's coming on. Yeah. The overarching energy is the Six of Cups. The guy's a fool. He's naive. And here's what the naivety is. Yeah, he may champion this and get this, but do you think that when you have all that power sitting there waiting to be taken, that they're going to let him, this bozo, you think they're going to let him be in charge? Oh, no. That's not how this works. But this is also, he might be in charge for a while, but this will be Game of Thrones, assassination, backstabbing type stuff. Overarching energy, going back to the Page of Cups, this is them just bamboozling simple-minded people. Telling them that this is for your own good. These are your values. We agree on your values. So just do what I tell you to, and I'll lead the way. I'll be your leader. You just follow because you like to be told what to do because thinking is hard. I'll do all that work. You just do what you're told, and everything is fine. Everything will be roses, and everybody will get a cup here. The lesson to be learned from this, it's going to change. This thing will be world changing. The United States becoming a quote-unquote Christian nation, an American Taliban, a dictatorship. Most powerful country in the world is a dictatorship. It's right up there with China and their dictatorship. It would basically be China. It would basically be Russia. The world would be a very different and much more dangerous place for this. And again, I think he's shooting his shot. This is his shot. He either succeeds or he fails. Outcome is the Nine of Swords. That's not looking like a real victory card for him. I think what ends up happening with Project 2025 is a lot of things start coming off the rails. Part of it is because if you get closer and closer to power, there's going to be more and more betrayals. Already Trump is trying to distance himself from Project 2025. That probably doesn't bother him yet. But that's because Trump has to brand his own Project 47 because, of course, it's Trump. The egomaniac has to do stuff like that. But it doesn't stop there with Project 2025 because there's going to be all sorts of people that are going to want to take credit. They're going to want their slice of pie, and they're going to want a bigger slice of pie than they are supposed to get. There will be backstabbing, bickering, arguing. This is all low energy stuff. It's gibbering demons fighting with each other. I've commented before on how I look at MAGA folks and their celebration of the suffering of others being like gibbering little demons running around a large demon. Or if you're more of a Star Wars fan, those little things, that little rat-like thing or whatever it is that hangs around Jabba the Hutt, cackling at other people's misfortunes. They're kind of like that. So that's this leader dude. He's a nightmare for people. He's a nightmare for himself. I wonder we want to dive in a little bit. What's so wrong with this guy? What is this guy's major malfunction? Why? Just why? What is this guy's problem that he feels the need to do this? Why? Give me a why here. 4 cards. Queen of Swords. He doesn't feel like he's in charge. He wants this world in his image. You know, whatever. Yeah. Smug merchant wants his hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. He wants a lot of power, a lot of wealth, a lot of control. And he feels like he can actually do this. He feels entitled. He just, you know, he looks at these other oligarchs. He wants to basically, why shouldn't I, you know, it's just like why shouldn't I be in charge? How come, you know, I should be the one in charge? I'm the clever one. And when I'm in charge, I can sit back and just tell people what to do. And then I'll be the king or the queen in this case. I'll have all the money. I'll have all the business. People will do everything I say. And I'll just make up stuff and do whatever I want whenever I want. It's like the ultimate in somebody in their terrible twos. They want to be in charge. They want all the resources with none of the responsibility. He's a sociopath. I think that would be the simplest way to call that. He's a sociopath. And probably a megalomaniac. Megalomaniacal? He's a sociopath with delusions of grandeur. How about that? Jeez. All right. What does Trump think of this guy? Because you know what he is? He's a little Trump. He may not be as much of a liar, habitual liar as Trump. Might be a bit more strategic than Trump. But Trump doesn't like other Trumps. Why would you like that? But I'm curious. What does Trump think of this guy? Oh, come on. It's like putting two scorpions into a pit and watching them sting each other. I would imagine scorpions are resistant to their own poison. I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'll do that now. Hang on. The joy of Google. Can you imagine having Google, when we were younger? You wouldn't have to go to the library looking at things in encyclopedias. Yes, scorpions are immune to their own poison. So it's like, they can keep stabbing at each other, but nobody gets a death shot in. Okay, Trump. The other guy whose name I've now forgotten. What does he think of him? The magician here. Yeah, this other guy is like, he's like the store brand. Donald Trump is the original manifester. And this other guy's just a fraud. The devil card, of course, because it's Trump. Look at all these major arcana here. What does Trump think about this guy? Trump steals the best ideas from people. Trump's going to be like, Trump will take credit. If Project 2025 turns out to be popular, Trump will take credit for it. Even this other guy is the one who's been planning this and been doing all the legwork. Trump will take all the credit for it. And, it's kind of like the thanks for the idea, stupid. It's my idea now. He just thinks the guy's an idiot. Underneath all the guy, new beginnings, fool card. It's like, you gave away all your ideas and it relied on me being elected. So I'm going to take all your ideas because I'm the devil. I do what I want. If I like what you say, I'll take full credit for it. If something fails, I'll blame you for it. It's great. Yeah, King of Wands. Trump just looks at this. This guy doesn't even register on Trump's radar. To him, he's just yet another source of ideas that he can take credit for. But Trump has to be the one who comes up with the ideas. It's so again, Project 47 could be word for word verbatim to Project 2025. It could absolutely be verbatim, and then Trump could say, "Oh, it's my idea." And then if things don't work out, Trump will blame this other guy or other people for things that didn't work out. But, it's like anything with Trump. Somebody else does all the work and then he slaps a T on it and calls it his own. Oh, God. Jiminy Christmas. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Last part. I'm not going to read if 2025 is going to come into fruition or not. Well, if Trump gets reelected, it is. So, I don't need to throw on that one. I keep getting Biden's going to be elected. But here's the thing. What is the spiritual lesson for all of us when it comes to Project 2025? What's the spiritual lesson for this? Again, letting go of that stress and that anxiety. A long sigh. For Carter. What's the message with it? Signifier is the 5 of coins. Underneath is the 7 of coins. The 3 of coins. Got a lot of value cards here, huh? The 9 of swords. And the 5 of wands. You got the Redneck Rumble card here. Or do you like Redneck Riot? They got the Redneck Riot underneath it. Okay. What's the spiritual lesson of Project 2025? It's about taking care of marginalized people and marginalized groups. And the fight, the struggle that they have to get through society, and that the arguments in the argy-bargy, for all my Australian fans out there, that we have on how to best do this. It's a battle. I hate to say it as quaint as it's a battle between good and evil, but it's more like a battle between the haves and the have-nots. I think that's the better way to put it. Enlightened people want to help the marginalized. Not everybody has money. If you have money, you can donate money. That helps. If you don't have money, you can donate time. That helps. You can donate your time to help spread the word. You could donate your time and energy helping people out. They Habitat for Humanity. There's places that build houses for people. They build urban gardens. They get rid of urban blight. They work at soup kitchens. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. Underneath it all is teamwork. Behind the scenes teamwork. It's getting together, identifying the problem, and then trying to strategize what can you do to address this problem. Some of these problems can be just getting people to come back into the fold. Other times it can be, well, that doesn't work, but what can we do to help out? And get these people less marginalized on there. It's funny, the Redneck Riot here, I'm purposely not saying my normal thing for it, because I did look up Hillbilly Brawl. I did look up Hillbilly, and generally it is referred to as a derogatory term to the folks in Appalachia. So I've started off with the drunken hillbilly brawl in a trailer park, and I dropped the trailer park because I didn't want to seem classist. It's not fair to folks who are maybe not financially well off enough to live anywhere but a trailer park. And while I personally don't think of hillbillies as a derogatory term, apparently it can be, and it is. I'm sorry, I grew up with the Beverly Hillbillies. And I actually looked up for synonyms of hillbillies and then read a bunch of stuff. And the consensus seemed to be this is a better card to represent rednecks because it's kind of a Southern pride thing, but they have very strong opinions and they don't let facts get in the way of their opinions, and they're more prone to violence. If somebody gave the example of if they have a shower curtain that breaks, rather than going to Walmart and spending $10 on a shower curtain or trying to fix it, they'll go out into their yard, they'll find some steel poles or posts out there, and then jury rig something to create a new shower curtain. It looks terrible, but it works. It's just like, yeah. But it's the violence part of it. And if I'm insulting rednecks everywhere, I give up. But I like this card, and I like to come up with a derogatory term for it. It's about, again, teamwork, helping people out. It's about assessing your values and constantly reassessing your values. Project 2025, they want to install, they want to put their values on other people. They have very distinct ways of going about this and doing that. But they're doing it from a low energy point of view. They're not doing it to help people rise up and be better. They're doing it to impose their will. So they're being nightmarish, and this is the card that came out for him. He's trying to force his will onto other people. That's against the teachings of God and Christ. It's not about forcing people to do what you want. It's about giving them the energy and the opportunity to lift themselves up. Come up with a plan. Come up with resources. What can you do to help? Ultimately, the free will decision of these folks is to help themselves out. If you can't do it for them, Lord knows, anybody with kids knows what I'm talking about. Horses to water and making them drink. You can't force them to do anything. You can make things easier. That's your job sometimes, is just to make things easier, whether it's encouragement or, talking about values, maybe helping financially with stuff, but ultimately it has to be their decision. Lord knows I fight through that with my own spawn. But even with these folks, it has to be a free will choice on their own. You can't force it on somebody. Forcing it on people doesn't work. So what's the spiritual lesson from this? It's about looking at people and looking at situations that don't look very good, working together to come up with a solution that gives the problem its best chance to resolve itself using a free will path and using compassion and enlightenment as opposed to, negative energy to get things done. It's a battle of light and dark in this case. And it's just another example of where we are in this society, in this time. We're at that crossroads. The Two of Swords, not in this one. It was in Mr. Roberts' personal reading there. We're at a crossroads. It's time to choose. Which path are we going to go down? And, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it would just be so much easier to saw off the southern United States and let them have their dictator-like states. Yeah, no, that's what the Civil War was trying to do, and the North won the Civil War, so that's why we're the United States. So no sense of giving them a victory for a revolution, a civil war. No sense of handing them the victory. That's why this stuff isn't going to happen. What you have to do is educate the folks down there or re-educate them about, looking out for their priorities and their values and how that impacts everybody else. And how can you align that? And can you do it in a positive way? I was talking about crab buckets yesterday. The goal isn't to drag people who you think are having an easier time than you, who you've determined don't deserve that, and drag them down to your rabbit hole of misery. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be figuring out a way out of your rabbit hole of misery to find your joy, however that looks. And if it's too difficult, maybe society can do something to give you a hand, a leg up, so that you can get moving. And, it's like anything. If you put the sweat equity into it, you appreciate it more. And that's why if you watch Trump in his ilk, they always say it's about the other side, brown people, getting in the country illegally, and they're being put on Social Security, and they're staying in luxury hotels. All this crap that makes them seem like they're these lazy, entitled people that are just having an incredible lifestyle lavished upon them, and they don't deserve it, do they? That's how they rile them up. And that's far from the case. But these folks, the rednecks here, the redneck rioters, they don't care. They just want to be angry at somebody. They want to blame somebody. They're not doing the self-reflection and trying to make themselves better. So they look for leaders like Trump. They look for leaders like this guy from Project 2025. It's like, I know what your problem is. I know what ails you. Just put me in charge and I'll make it all better. And we know who to blame for it, and we'll make them miserable. I mean, doesn't that just sound amazing? I get to be better, and somebody else gets to suffer for a change. All for it. Welcome to the United States, 2024 edition. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for your likes and shares and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering the channel recently or for the first time, welcome. Glad you found us. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.